you've got is, on this stage, a microcosm of the kind of change we're talking about, which is Democrat, Republican, and Independent. People are trying to come together across party lines, realizing that our politics today are being dominated by labels, that we are dividing ourselves into increasingly warring camps, that our politics is becoming increasingly polarized, and our country is becoming divided, artificially but harshly. And that hyper-partisanship, the rise of hyper-partisanship, the polarization of the two parties, and the dominance of special interests is getting in the way of our ability as a nation to meet the serious changes and challenges we face. And that's the kind of change that we're talking about. This is really early stages. We've all just gotten together because we all feel a common sense of purpose. But as McKinnon likes to say, this isn't even the ground floor, this is the dirt floor. And we're just beginning to go out and talk to folks to tell you what we're thinking about and try to get the feedback. I think there is a need for no labels, because right now we are in a cycle in our politics where we are all focused on what divides us, not what unites us. And that is fundamentally contrary to the whole idea of America at the end of the day, right? The national motto, the reminder that our founding fathers gave us to kind of keep our compass pointed in the right direction was e pluribus unum, out of many one. That core idea that what unites us is greater than what divides us is the fundamental idea behind America. And yet our political debates today, or media debates, which we all participate in, are being dominated and hijacked by people who seem to believe the exact opposite. And it's becoming a major challenge for our nation. Just throw up for a second the map, if we could. It's a good symbol of our politics today. Red state, blue state. This is the vision of American politics that we are force-fed as a country. And we believe it to be true. It is a vision that implies a country that is deeply divided regionally, across party lines. And it creates this impression that when you grow across a state border, all of a sudden you're in a different country with fundamentally different values. And this attitude gets drummed into us in political talk shows, the idea of a split screen where people scream talking points at each other from the left and the right. The idea that somehow people who are liberals or conservatives or Democrats or Republicans, that somewhere we begin to buy this idea that we question their loyalty to the country. We start seeing them as somehow an alien species. This attitude is designed to divide us, and there are people who like to perpetuate this play to the base vision of politics. They profit from it. They profit from the polarization. They profit from it politically and professionally. And they have been able, I believe, to hijack the debate and disproportionately dominate the debate, because there's a basic fundamental problem with this map, this vision of politics, that is beneath, I think, the need for no labels. And that is that this vision of America is a lie. Let's take a look at the next slide, because that's reality. That's how we really vote in America. We aren't deeply divided across state lines between red and blue. Sure, there are areas of this country that are more conservative and more liberal, and there are good people in both camps. We don't believe that just because somebody is a proud Democrat or a proud Republican, that somehow they'd speak a foreign language or they have a fundamentally different vision of the nation. And what this map also shows you is what you know in your own hearts, what you know in your own lives, which is that you and your neighbors may be conservative on some things, but liberal on others. As an independent voter, as someone who's studied independent voters a lot, I know that many of them, there is a mainstream, might say that they're fiscally conservative but socially liberal. But it doesn't matter. The point is that we don't surrender our conscience and our common sense just to walk in lockstep with a party label. But those are kind of the terms of the debate that we are being told. And this map reminds us of the essential American character, that we are fundamentally diverse, and that in that there is a transcendence. We transcend the tribal labels that get applied to us. That's how democracy is supposed to work. And yet in our current political debate, the fundamental cooperation that's supposed to be beneath our politics is considered collaboration by some people. And it is hurting our country. The infusion of poisonous hyper-partisanship in our political debates is in danger of hurting our country. And we got to stop looking at the labels that divides us and start thinking about and working towards the things that unite us. The whole idea about no labels is to be a voice for that conversation. Because after the election's over, have to be a country that governs itself. We have to approach our problems in a way that moves our country not left, not right, but forward. That's what the overwhelming majority of the American people want. That's why more Americans are independents than Democrats or Republicans. More folks are in the center than are on the left or the right. But these aren't things that divide us into different competing camps in America. And we've lost sight of that. And so that's why I have gravitated to no labels, and a lot of good people have, just to begin this conversation, because we feel there's a need. And a lot of people seem to be coming to the same conclusions, even though it's not being reinforced by the way we're talking about politics. It's not being reinforced with certainly the way that the parties seem to run things. But a lot of people individually come to the same conclusion. So I think that's a hopeful sign. But we need to be the change we want to see. And that's why I got involved with No Labels.